Yeah, hi folks. Now whether you like Avi Yemeni or not is completely irrelevant, as today's issue is not really about Avi, it's about free speech and how Ardern has weaponized the police and Immigration New Zealand. It is quite clear now that Avi Yemeni, through official information documents, was not permitted into New Zealand because of his political opinions, as opposed to his criminal record.
All right, I hope I've given him long enough to wipe the sleep from his eyes. He may not be the most reliable person to tee up for an interview. He left us hanging yesterday, terribly. But he is with us today, and he has a tale to tell. His name is Avi Yemeni. He is a reporter for the, well, some would say alt, I'd just say modern, new, rebel news organisation, which has branches all over the world and one in Australia. Just by way of background, folks, Avi and a colleague tried to come here for the Brian Tamaki-led protest at Parliament. And he was turned away at the check-in counter in Australia, apparently due to just a normal procedural immigration check by New Zealand. If you've been following this story, you know that there have been a lot of twists and turns in it, and I think we are getting close, or Avi is getting close to finding out really why he's not allowed into New Zealand. He joins us on the line from Australia now. Avi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sean, and I apologise to you and your listeners for yesterday. Absolutely my bad on the times there.
That's all right.
Here we are.
Good on you. Nice to have you with us, Avi. Well, Avi, this has been quite the saga. And I want to remind people that it began with the Prime Minister proclaiming that she had nothing to do with you being turned away from New Zealand, and that it was a totally normal procedure that was behind the denial of entry to you as an Australian citizen to come to New Zealand.
Now, this is what Sean was referring to.
Prime Minister, do you have any comment on claims today that New Zealand police went on a fishing expedition looking for negative information about a social media figure in Australia called Avi Yemeni and a man called Ruskin Fernandez, who planned to come here for the protest Destiny Church rally last Tuesday, one of whom was turned away at the border?
So I know nothing of what you claim on behalf of the agency you claim. I am aware of, and I actually, forgive me, I assume it's the same individual. I am aware of someone who was recently denied access at the border. My understanding is that was because of criminal convictions that deem them ineligible for travel.
Those criminal convictions would appear on the place of not to meet the criteria for ineligibility.
Well, obviously, I'm not.
And also a memo purporting to be from Interpol Wellington has been published on some online media sites, in which the New Zealand police or New Zealand Interpol saying, we do not want these two individuals coming to New Zealand, we have no information on them. Fundamentally, could you find some dirt on them? Would you consider, if this is verified, this email, that's an appropriate thing for Interpol to do?
I can't verify anything that you're putting to me at this time, Sean, because this is the first I've heard of it, other than what I've just said, which is I do know of one individual, which was an operational decision around their entry into New Zealand, where there is clear criteria around character, and one of those criteria does include criminal convictions.
You lying sod. Avi was denied entry because of his political opinions that you and your ilk disagree with.
From what you know now, was that ever the case?
Absolutely not. It's clear from the documents that we now have.
And here are the documents. Yeah, now as you can see, they are heavily redacted. Anyway, I've posted a link to this below along with other links as well.
Communications, the unredacted parts of the communications even, that it clearly shows there was a coordinated, it was an effort between several agencies even before knowing that we were coming. So as soon as that article was published in the New Zealand Herald saying that we might be coming, then a bunch of emails between different agencies saying we need to stop these people and we need help to stop both myself and Rook Shum, because and the scariest part is, I think, is before they knew we were coming, they have a propensity to agitate people with opposing
So you were on.
Now, I recorded the following yesterday. Now, this is from Cam Slater at BFD. Police notified Immigration New Zealand at 8:11 p.m. on Sunday, 21 August, of their desire to prevent Avi Yemeni from entering New Zealand. Immigration New Zealand then scrambled urgently to get the information needed to support their hasty decision to try and ban Avi Yemeni, even though they had no confirmation that he was even coming. Now, this is what Cam was referring to. Immigration Service New Zealand have also been advised and have been briefed to speak to both individuals, that's Avi Yemeni and Rukshan, should they travel to New Zealand, and assess their intentions of travel with a view to having them turned at the border. And assess their intentions of travel. Intentions of travel have nothing to do with a criminal conviction. With a view to having them turned at the border. This was planned. No information has been received yet to confirm that the subjects have in fact made bookings to travel to New Zealand. However, this should be confirmed within the next 48 hours. So they don't even know if they're coming, but here they are trying to stop them in advance. Now, Daniel List from Immigration New Zealand added this note. Thanks for your agency's assistance here. Documents as requested attached for Border Control staff assessment. Note the propensity for both individuals to incite and agitate people with opposing views. Note the propensity for both individuals to incite and agitate people with opposing views. So this is clearly political. It has nothing to do with a crime. The police and immigration have been weaponized.
Identified by government agencies as an agitator and undesirable.
Exactly.
Which government agencies, according to the documents that you've got, Avi?
So there's New Zealand Police, New Zealand Immigration are the main two there that were the communications were between those two organisations.
Was any supporting evidence as to that opinion that you are an agitator, which I might add isn't a crime, it's just an attitude? Was there any supporting evidence to that, or was it just an assumption made by the New Zealand Police?
Well, they keep linking that New Zealand Herald article that was...
Now, I recorded the following as well. Now, this is the New Zealand Herald article that Avi is referring to. It's a seed article that the New Zealand Herald planted for the police to pick up the next day and run with. And of course they did. Now, this article includes the following wording. Yemeni is a Melbourne-based social media personality who was banned from Facebook and is known for his extremist far-right ideology and comments. In 2018, at a protest demonstration against the imprisonment of the far-right British activist Tommy Robinson in London, Yemeni said he was, quote, the world's proudest Jewish Nazi, unquote. Now, this is from the police. Good evening. Please note the following two individuals. Avi Yemeni is noted by commentators as a far-right extremism commentator. Avi Yemeni has proudly called himself at a London protest in 2018, quote, the world's proudest Jewish Nazi, unquote. Almost exactly the same wording. This is 100% proof that the police followed the Seed article.
Written on the Saturday before we were coming, I think because one Chantel Baker said in a telegram that she was expecting to see myself and Rukshan there. So it was completely relying on this one article. And what does it mean, agitating people with opposing views? It's such a ridiculous, undemocratic reason to ban somebody from a free country.
Now, the Prime Minister insisted to me that this was just an immigration decision. It was because of a conviction you had. That was just complete BS, wasn't it?
Of course it was.
Well, it would certainly seem so. It showed me another person in New Zealand's history that got banned from entry before even applying to come. That's what it says in the email. It says, we're not even sure if they're coming, but we want to stop them. And if they do come to our border, you know, go through the motions, as in you must do the assessment, but the intention is to stop them from coming because of the propensity to agitate people.
God, I'd never be allowed anywhere if that was a ground for restricting people's movements, Avi. I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning, mate.
Well, it's scary because I think anyone with an opposing view could be stopped from travelling anywhere, because if a government decides that, well, your existence agitates, triggers, and you know their particular point of view, or anyone on their side of politics, then we're just going to restrict movement around the world to protect people's feelings. It's just mind-boggling.
And look, the irony is, I'm pretty sure if you'd come here, you would have been bored out of your skull. It was not very exciting, that parliamentary protest. Not much happened.
I tend to agree. It would have been over quite quickly. I probably would have got some, great interviews with locals. I would have done what I was set out to do, and it would have all been over by now. But like I said to you from the beginning, Sean, they've dug this hole and they seem to keep digging. But at the end of the day, one day I will sit in that studio across from you, and we'll certainly be there. And a lot more people are going to know about it, and a lot more people are going to tell their story because they've created this buzz around it. But it is scary. It's certainly a scary idea. And I encourage your listeners to go and read the documents for themselves. Don't take my word for it. At avilegalfund.com, we've published entire documents.
Yeah.
And you can see what the conversations and the way they congratulated each other for their great work. When I was, you see the email, there's somebody giving live reports there, and they're congratulating each other that they banned me, and they're saying, oh, he's not happy.
And I recorded the following as well. So we have Sarim Muhammad, this guy. Now, apparently, he's a border manager. Sarah is giving the decision now, ineligible to travel using Section 97, doesn't meet character A525. He is unhappy. Cheers, Sareem. Now, I tried to find everyone on this list here, but couldn't find them except this guy, Alvin Ram. Now, apparently he's another border guy.
Yeah. What happens next with you legally, Avi? How do you get this ban, which, you know, I personally think is just ridiculous and restrictive and kind of fascist? How do you get this ban lifted? Is there a legal channel for you to get past this?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we need, though, is for immigration to ban an actual visa. So what they've done here is they've refused entry to a visa waiver.
Yeah.
So right now they're sitting on their desk is the application for the visa with the character assessment and all that.
Now, I recorded the following as well. Now, Avi cannot be refused a visa because the criteria for refusal requires a person to be, quote, convicted in the last 10 years of an offence and were sentenced to a term in prison of 12 months or more, unquote. But Immigration New Zealand ignored that and denied him entry anyway. From Peter Elms, this guy. Stu, can you ask someone to interpret this report for us? I'd like to clarify whether any of these offences has resulted in a conviction. Cheers. Ngā mihi, Peter Elms. He, him. Right pronouns there. To Peter Elms. Good afternoon, gents. Took some leverage, but I can confirm the assault was a true conviction. With conviction, fined $1,600. $1,600, a misdemeanor fine, no jail time.
Yeah.
Now, for me to be able to file something in court, we need an outcome of that. So we're waiting. The ball's in their court. Obviously, they're dragging their feet. I think they're hoping this all blows over, but they probably should have spoken to my mum, and they would have found out that it doesn't matter. Take as long as they legally can. And
so your mum never said, "Don't worry about Avi, he'll get over it." That never happened, right?
No, that's never happened, and it won't happen. And I tell you now, I will be there, Sean. I will be there, and it'll either be. I do predict. At this point, I can't see them refusing it, so overturning. I can't see them not overturning this ban because now that I know what I know, I am certain they don't want this going in front of a judge.
And I think he's right there. Yeah, without question, folks. The police and Immigration New Zealand have dug themselves into a hole. And it's all because our communist leader wants to censor opposing opinions. Did they not know that Avi Yemeni knows his way around a courtroom? He even forced the Victorian police to apologise to him at one point.